Biology, Lecture 1. In Semester 1, include general introduction, cell biology, genetics, bacteriology, and virology, parasitology. In second semester, histology, immunology. Biology, bios, life, logos, science is the science which deals with the study of living objects. Biology has two branches. A, botany or plant biology. Botany, plants, is the study of plants. Zoology, zoo, animal, is the study of animals. Characteristics of living things. Living things possesses certain properties by which they can be easily distinguished from the non-living things. The important characteristics of the living things are the following. Number 1, cellular structure. Body of living organism is composed of one or more microscopic structure units called cells. 2, protoplasm. A cell is an organized mass of complex living substance called the protoplasm. Proto first, plasm form. It is composed of water, proteins, sugars, amino acids, fat, nucleic acid, and certain mineral substances. All the vital functions of life are performed by protoplasm. 3, organized life cycle. All the living things follow a definite life cycle of birth, growth, maturity, old age, and death. 4, fixed lifespan. All the living things have a fixed lifespan, which is the period from its birth into its death. 5, definite size and shape. Every living thing has got a definite size and characteristic shape. It can be easily recognized from other things. 6, movement or motility. Most of the animals move bodily from one place to another with the help of certain organs or organelles. This is called locomotion. Metabolism. A series of chemical processes are constantly going inside the body of a living thing. The sum total of all these chemical processes called metabolism. Metabol, charge. It comprises two kinds of charge, anabolism and catabolism. Anabolism is the constructive process in which complex living matter is built from simple substances and energy is stored. Catabolism is the destructive process in which complex protoplasm breaks down into simple substances and energy is released. Both anabolic and catabolic processes go in simultaneously in the body of living organism. Metabolism exhibited by the following life processes. A, nutrition. All living organisms need food. A regular supply of food is essential for maintenance of the living body. The green plants take simple substances like carbon dioxide and water and convert them into complex carbohydrate in the presence of sunlight. This phenomenon is called photosynthesis. Animals take diffusible and non-diffusible complex organic substances as food. This process is called ingestion. The non-diffusible food substances are converted into diffusible forms. This process is called digestion. The digested food is absorbed and distributed to various parts of the body and is ultimately converted into protoplasm. This process is called assimilation. The indigested waste matter is passed out of the body as feces. This process is called digestion or defecation. Nutrition is therefore an anabolic process as it helps in the building up of the body tissue. Respiration. It is an oxidizing and energy liberating process. It involves intake the oxygen and outgo of carbon dioxide. Oxygen oxidizes the tissue substances. Carbon dioxide and water are produced and energy is liberated. This energy is utilized for performance of various bodily functions. Respiration is thus a catabolic process as it tends to destroy the tissue substances by oxidation. 8. Secretion. The living things produce many useful substances such as enzymes, hormones, etc. These substances are produced in different parts of the body and are sent to other parts. This process is called secretion. 9th, excretion. The elimination of non-gaseous and nitrogenous waste products produced during metabolism from the body is called excretion. Homeostasis. Homeostasis is the maintenance of constant, also dynamic internal environment in terms of temperature, pH, water concentration, etc. Much of our own metabolic energy goes toward keeping within our own hemostatic limits. If you run a higher fever for long enough, the increased temperature will damage certain organs and impair your proper functioning. Swallowing of common household chemicals, many of which are outside the pH, acid or base levels we can tolerate, will likewise negatively impact on the human body's homeostatic regime. Muscular activity generated heat as a waste product. This heat is removable from our bodies by sweating. Some of this heat is used by warm-blood animals, mammals, and birds to maintain their internal temperatures. pH. pH, the negative logarithm of the H-positive ion concentration. The pH is measure of the acidity or basic characters of a solution. Since it is measure a fraction, the larger the pH number, the less H ions are present in solution. 11. Irritability or sensitivity. It is the power of response to a stimulus. A living organism has the ability to respond to external stimuli such as light, temperature, or etc. Reproduction. 12. Reproduction and heredity. Living organisms have the power of producing individuals of their own kind in order to continue their progeny. Since all cells come from existing cells, they must have some way of reproducing, whether that involves a sexual non-recombination of genetic material or sexual recombination of genetic material. Most living things use the chemical DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, as the physical carrier of inheritance and the genetic information. Some organisms, such as retrovirus, of which HIV is member, use RNA ribonucleic acid as the carrier. A sexual recombination, a method of reproduction in which genetically identical offspring are produced from a single parent, occurs by many mechanisms, include fission, budding, and fragmentation. Sexual reproduction, a system of reproduction in which two haploid sex cells, gametes, fuse to produce a diploid zygote. Human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, and cause acquired immunodeficiency syndrome (AIDS). 13. Coordination. The body of living organism is composed of number of parts which work together for the welfare of the organism. Our body is composed of several parts such as hands, feet, air, etc. that work together in a team for the benefit of the body. 14. Adaptation. The body of living things is perfectly adapted according to the surrounding in which it lives. A fish lives in water. Its body as a pouch ship is respires in water through the gills. 15. Healing. The living things have the power to repair their damaged parts. A wound caused to any part of the body of a living organism is healed in due course. 16. Regeneration. It is the ability to reproduce the lost part. It is commonly found in plants and some lower animals such as earthworms, sponge, and lizard. 17. Definite individuality. Every living thing possesses a definite individuality. It exists as a complete unit and has a separate entity. 18. Struggle or competition. All living things show struggle for existence. They struggle against each other and against the change conditions. 19. Energy acquisition and release. One view of life is that it is struggle to acquire energy from sunlight, inorganic chemicals, or another organism, and release it in the process of forming ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate, ATP, a common form in which energy is stored in living system, consists of a nucleotide with ribose sugar with a 3-phosphate group, the energy coin of the cell. 20. Proper environment. A living thing lives at a place where proper environment is available. They are not found everywhere. 21. Growth and development. Even single-cell organisms grow. When first formed by cell division, they are small and most grow and develop into mature cells. Multicellular organisms pass through a more complicated process of differentiation and organogenesis because they have so many more cells to develop. 22. Interactions. Living things interact with their environment as well as each other. Organisms obtain raw materials and energy from the environment or another organism. The various types of symbiosis, organismal interactions with each other, are examples of these interactions. Symbiosis, an interactive association between two or more species living together, may be parasitic, commensal, or mutualistics, the relationship between two organisms. Parasitism, a form of symbiosis in which the population of one species benefits at the expense of the population of another species, similar to predation, but differs in that parasites act more slowly than predators and don't always kill the host. A type of symbiosis in which one organism benefits at the expense of the other. For example, the influenza virus is a parasite on its human host. Viruses are obligate intracellular parasites. Commensalism, a symbiotic relationship in which one species benefits and the other is not affected. Mutualism, a form of symbiosis in which both species benefit. A type of symbiosis where both organisms benefit. The classic example is lichens, which is a symbiosis between algae and fungus. The algae provides food and the fungus provides water and nutrients. 23. Death. The living things ultimately suffer from death. Biological classification. Classification is the process of grouping things based on their similarities. Biologists use classification to organize living things into groups so that the organisms are easier to study. The scientific study of how living things are classified is called taxonomy. Why classify? Why do scientists classify? To help us see relationships, similarities, and differences among organisms. To help us organize all the organisms we discover. To give every species a name based on a standard method so scientists from different countries can talk about the same animal without confusion. Classification history. The earliest classification was done by Aristotle. He used simple morphological characteristics to classify plants into trees, shrubs, herbs. He also divided animals into two groups, those who possess red blood and those who did not. Linnaeus classified living world into two kingdoms, plant and animals. This system was used till very recently. This system doesn't distinguish between eukaryotic and prokaryotic, unicellular and multicellular organism, and photosynthetic green algae and non-photosynthetic organism. Whitaker proposed a five-kingdom classification. The kingdoms defined by him were named Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae, and animals. The main criteria for classification used by him include cell structure, thallus organism, mode of nutrition, reproduction, and phylogenetic relationships. Five kingdoms classification, Whitaker classification. In this classification, 4 kingdoms, eukaryotes, animals, plants, fungi, protista, and final kingdom, Monera, are prokaryotes. Includes archaea and eubacteria. Archaea, extreme bacteria. In same classification, multicellular or unicellular, 3 of kingdoms, animals, plants, fungi, multicellular organism, whereas Protista, Monera, unicellular organism. Whitaker classification, 5 kingdoms. 5 kingdom classification. In this classification, organisms are placed into 5 kingdoms based on at least 3 major criteria. Number 1, cell type, prokaryotic or eukaryotic. 2, level of organization or cell number, multicellular or unicellular. 3, mode of nutrition, feeding type. Criteria for kingdom division, cell type, prokaryotes, eukaryotes. The differences between 2 kingdom, prokaryotes and eukaryotes, the differences between organism, prokaryote, eukaryote, including nucleus, membrane, enclosed organelles, cell wall, cytoplasm, ribosome, chromosome, cell division, sexual recombination. Two criteria for kingdom division: cell number, unicellular, single-celled organism, protozoans, bacteria, some algae. Multicellular, many-celled organism, cells start to specialize, differentiate. Three criteria for kingdom divisions: mode of nutrition, how the organism get their food, autotrophy or produce, make their own food, photosynthesis, heterotrophy or consumer must eat other organism to survive, include decomposers, those that eat dead matter, ingestion or absorption. The three domains of life. Carl Lewis Focus and his collaborators have used rRNA study to group all living organisms into three domains: archaea, bacteria, eukaryote, and eukaryotes. Eukaryotes, animals, plants, fungi, protists. The three domains of life. Taxonomic classification of living beings in classification in multi taxonomy, according to which Linnaeus 13:5 two kingdoms: animals, plants. Haeckel 1866 three kingdoms: animal, plants, protista. Chatton 1925 two empires: prokaryote and eukaryote. Copeland 1938 four kingdom: animals, plants, protista, monera. Whitaker 1969 five kingdoms: animals, plant, fungi, protista, monera. Carl Lewis et al. 1990 three domains: bacteria, archaea, eukarya. Clover Smith 1998 six kingdom: animals, plants, fungi, protista, monera, chromista. Taxonomy is the formula following system scientists use to classify living organism. It puts every organism in its place and makes a place for every living organism. The taxonomic system has three primary functions: classification, nomenclature, and identification of species. The 8 major taxa or groups in the taxonomic system are in decreasing, in descending order: domain, kingdom, phylum or division, class, order, family, genus, and species. The binomial system of nomenclature describe each living organism by two names: genus and species. Taxonomy groups organism by phylogenetic similarity, which in turn is based on evolutionary similarity in morphology, physiology, and genetics. Evolutionary patterns show a tree-like branch from simple, primitive life forms to complex, advanced life forms. The Weiss-Fox classification system places all eukaryotes in the domain superkingdom eukarya and subdivided the prokaryotes into two domain archaea and bacteria. The Whitaker 5 kingdom classification system places all bacteria in the kingdom prokaryotes and subdivided the eukaryotes into kingdom protista, mysta, animal, and plant. How to remember the classification scheme? Here is any easy way to remember the terms used in this classification scheme. Kingdoms, play, cards on a Friday, generally speaking. If you take the first letter of each word in the sentence and apply it to proper scheme, you will get the following: kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Like scheme. In the five kingdom classification of Whitcomb, there is no mention of some cellular organism like viruses and virion. The viruses are no cellular organisms that are characterized by having an inert crystalline structure outside the living cell. Varied in 1971, Dinner discovered a new infectious agent that was smaller than viruses and causes potato spindle tuberous disease. It was found to be a free RNA. It takes the protein code that is found in viruses, hence the name varied. The RNA of the varied was a low molecular weight. Thanks for listening.